The Friday night unfolded like a scene from a winter fairy tale. The snow was falling gracefully outside, covering our little town in a soft, white blanket. Inside my room, I was wrapped up in my favorite cloak, enchanted by the characters on the TV that were making me laugh. The snowstorm amplified, creating an atmosphere that felt both comfortable and magical. As the characters on the TV carried on with their jokes, I suddenly heard a knocking sound on my window. At first, I ignored it, thinking it might be the branches of the old oak tree outside. But the knocking continued, growing more insistent. Intrigued, I got up and approached the window, half expecting to see one of my friends playing a prank. To my surprise, there was no one there, just the peaceful snowflakes twirling in the night air, creating a soothing ambiance. I chuckled at myself, attributing the sounds to the whims of the winter wind. However, my short relief was shattered by a sudden, bone-chilling laugh that echoed through the silence. I felt a chill run down my spine, and my laughter turned into a nervous sip. Quickly, I shut the window, hoping to drown out the unsettling noise. My room, once a haven of warmth and laughter, now felt like the setting of a creepy tale. I tried to focus on my TV show, but the strange events outside stayed in the back of my mind. As I settled back into the show, another snowball hit my window. This time, hesitation gripped me before I looked outside. The sight that met my eyes sent shivers down my spine. A tall man dressed all in black, standing in the snowy expanse, his gaze fixed directly on me. His eyes seemed to pierce through the darkness, and an evil grin stretched across his face as he waved menacingly. Fear paralyzed me momentarily. Was this a prank? A bizarre coincidence? My rational mind struggled to find an explanation. Ignoring the uneasy feeling, I grabbed my phone and dialed my dad's number, desperation evident in my shaky voice. "Dad, there's a guy in black, and he's looking at me. He won't go away," I pleaded. Dad rushed to my room, a mix of concern and confusion etched across his face. By the time he arrived, however, the mysterious man had vanished into the blizzard, leaving behind only questions and an unsettling atmosphere. To make sense of the strange encounter, I messaged my friends asking if they were playing a prank. Confused emojis filled my screen as they replied, "What are you talking about?" The eerie events were becoming a riddle with no clear answer in sight. Despite my unease, I decided to continue watching TV, convincing myself that the creepy man was nothing more than a figment of my imagination. However, my sense of security shattered when my bedroom door creaked open. "Get out!" I yelled, assuming it was my little sister trying to scare me. The door slammed shut, and I thought I had successfully chased away her. As I tried to calm my racing heart, footsteps approached me from the darkness. "Get out!" I shouted again, this time with a mix of fear and frustration. Instead of a response, the bone-chilling laugh echoed right next to me. I turned around, and there he was, the tall man in black standing in the corner of my room, his presence casting a dark shadow. The room seemed to grow colder as he moved closer. I stumbled backward, my mind racing. Was this a nightmare? The tall man reached out and grabbed me with a grip that felt like ice. The room spun, and everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in my room. I was in the living room, surrounded by my worried parents and a couple of stern-faced police officers. They bombarded me with questions, trying to unravel the mystery of that fateful night. My attempts to explain were met with skepticism, and the air was thick with tension. In the days that followed, the town buzzed with speculation about the strange events. The snowy night had transformed into a tale of mystery and suspense, whispered among kids and adults alike. Each retelling added new details, turning the encounter into a chilling legend. I was driving home from work in the cold winter. The air was really chilly, and snow started falling. It looked nice initially, but then it became a heavy blizzard. The snow made it hard to see, and my car got stuck. I felt stuck and alone in the freezing night, with the wind making scary sounds. Then, like a lifeline, a truck rumbled through the storm. Relief washed over me as the driver rolled down the window and asked if I needed a hand. Grateful, I hopped into the truck, hoping for warmth and safety. But as we drove through the snow-covered landscape, things got weird. The driver, a shadowy figure, started asking strange questions. He wanted to know everything about me, where I came from, how I got here, but never where I lived or where he should drop me off. Unease crawled up my spine, and I shivered in the cold. His questions became more personal, and he said things that made my skin crawl. I felt trapped, the truck moving through the snow-covered road like a coffin on wheels. Then he told me I looked very good. Fear slithered through me. I knew something was wrong, terribly wrong. The icy fingers of dread tightened around my heart. I had to get out. My mind raced as I planned my escape. I waited for the right moment, and when it came, I seized it. I opened the door and jumped into the freezing night without a second thought. I hit the snow-covered ground, and the truck kept going, the taillights disappearing into the storm. The cold stung my face as I picked myself up. Panic and fear pushed me away from that truck and the strange driver with his unsettling words. Through the howling wind, I stumbled into the woods, the trees casting eerie shadows in the moonlight. Branches grabbed at my clothes, and the snow swallowed my steps. Fear fueled me as I darted between the trees, the winter night becoming a maze of shadows and icy winds. But the woods were just as creepy as the truck. The silence felt wrong, like the calm before a storm. I could hear my heartbeat, the only sound in that frozen world. Then, a distant noise, the crunch of footsteps behind me. My heart raced and I dared a glance back. A figure emerged from the trees, a dark silhouette against the white snow. The driver followed me. Fear turned to terror. I pushed myself harder, my breath creating icy clouds in the frigid air. The footsteps behind me grew louder, and I felt his presence closing in. Desperation fueled my every step as I emerged back onto the road from the woods. But the truck was waiting like a predator, anticipating its prey. The engine roared to life and the headlights blinded me. I veered away, running alongside the road, hoping to escape that ominous truck. Then, a voice, chilling and close. "You can't escape, my dear. You'll be mine forever." His words echoed through the snowy night, freezing me in my tracks. I turned, and there he was, the driver's eyes gleaming with a twisted desire. Panic surged. I couldn't return to the truck, but the woods felt like a trap. My mind raced, searching for an escape route, and then an idea. I darted into the woods, back into the eerie silence, hoping to lose him in the shadows. The footsteps followed, relentless and haunting. I ran, my breath hitching in the cold air. The trees closed in around me and fear clawed at my throat. The darkness of the woods became my ally and my enemy. Finally, after an eternity, I burst out of the trees onto the road again, but the truck was gone. I stood there panting, surrounded by the snowy landscape and the icy wind. Alone on the cold road, a kind old lady in a car picked me up. She heard my scary story and gave me a protective charm. She dropped me at a house, and I continued my journey with gratitude, remembering that chilling night. The day I stretched on endlessly as I navigated the frozen expanse of the forest, determined to make the most of the dwindling daylight. My breath formed visible clouds in the crisp air as I shuffled through the snow, rifle in hand, searching for any sign of game. The woods were silent, save for the crunching of my boots against the frozen ground. A sense of urgency set in as the sun descended, casting long shadows over the snow-covered landscape. Hours passed in relentless pursuit of elusive prey, the biting cold gradually seeping through my layers of clothing. My surroundings changed into a winter wonderland, the trees adorned with a heavy layer of snow, and the air filled with a haunting stillness. It was then that the first snowflakes began to fall. At first, they were soft, swirling gently in the air, but as the sky darkened, the snow intensified, transforming into a relentless blizzard. Panic gripped me as I realized the world was disappearing beneath a curtain of white. The blizzard raged on, relentless and unforgiving. The wind howled through the trees, drowning out any semblance of sound. Visibility was reduced to a few feet, and the biting cold became an adversary. With every step, I ventured deeper into the heart of the storm, desperately seeking shelter. My eyes strained against the driving snow, and that's when I saw it. A solitary wooden cabin standing defiantly against the blizzard. It seemed like a beacon of salvation during the swirling chaos. Hope surged within me as I stumbled toward the door, my every movement a battle against the relentless wind. With trembling hands, I knocked on the door, the sound muffled by the roaring storm. An echo from within responded. "Yes?" I explained my dire situation to the cabin owner, a weathered figure who nodded in understanding. "Put your shoes outside and come in," he said. The warmth inside was a stark contrast to the frigid onslaught outside. 3 candles flickered in the center of the room, casting dancing shadows on the wooden walls. Grateful for the respite, I felt a peculiar unease settle upon me. "You can sleep on the couch by the candles," a deep voice echoed from the shadows. Though hesitant, exhaustion compelled me to accept the invitation. As I lay on the couch, a sense of vulnerability washed over me, intensified by the flickering candlelight that played tricks on the walls. A dark silhouette appeared at the room's far end in the unsettling stillness. I looked through the dim light, realizing with growing dread that the figure's skin was grotesquely burned and contorted. A shiver raced as I struggled to comprehend the surreal scene. "I'm okay, just going to sleep," I stammered, desperately trying to dismiss the rising fear. But as I turned away, a profound silence enveloped the room. No footsteps were retreating, no reassurance that I was alone. With fear, I faced the couch again, only to find that the burned figure was now much closer. Haunted by the eerie presence, I declared, "I'm leaving," and propelled myself back into the blizzard. The biting cold was a welcome alternative to the supernatural unease that permeated the cabin. The wind howled louder, echoing the strange sounds that seemed to follow me. In a frantic search for refuge, I stumbled upon another house nearby. Desperation etched across my face. I knocked on the door. An elderly couple welcomed me with knowing smiles, their eyes conveying an understanding beyond words. They ushered me inside, offering a respite from the blizzard and the inexplicable horror I had just escaped. The older man handed me a steaming cup of tea as I huddled by the fireplace. The warmth began to soothe my frayed nerves, and I felt a sense of security in their presence. It was then that they shared the chilling truth. The cabin owner had passed away 2 years ago, his spirit lingering in that isolated refuge, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls. The revelation hung heavy in the air, intertwining with the tendrils of the blizzard that still raged outside. I listened intently as the couple recounted supernatural encounters in the unforgiving winter. The thin line between survival and succumbing to the mysteries of the woods became glaringly apparent.